Thank you, YouTube. I just reached 100 subscribers, and I feel like now is the perfect time to tell a story about the time I got an F plus on a college paper. Yeah, it's a funny story. I'm a comedian now. Now I look back at it, I laugh at the situation, considering I'm an inspiring author. But it's the perfect time. But if you like content like this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and click that bell for notifications so you can get these alerts when I upload new content. Okay, so without further ado, let's get back to the story. Okay, story time. This is a funny story that I have to tell, because if anybody know me or have ever met me, they would be like, he's smart. He's a smart dude. He knows this stuff, right? But no. I read and I research and I write. And I learn most of the stuff that I regurgitate is from stuff that I have researched in the past, all up leading to now in the present. But I have to tell this one story in my journey to becoming an author, or wanting to become a best-selling author. I'm almost there. I'm going to get there one day. I've already claimed it. I'm going to stake it. But I remember when I was 19, 20 years old, I was taking some summer classes at a junior college in East Texas, Angelina College, actually. And one of the classes that I was taking was 1301 English. Now, if you don't know, these are the 2 English classes that you must take in order to even graduate with an associate's degree. These are your basics. These are your basic of the basic classes. So during that summertime, I remember I was writing a paper over the Black Dahlia, the story of the Black Dahlia. And I was truly interested in writing this paper over the Black Dahlia. It was a analysis. It's like an analysis paper. So I read the story of the Black Dahlia. I do my research. I go read go watch some documentaries, read some new articles about the Black Dahlia and the killings during that time. And I write this paper, right? I'm writing it with passion. I feel real good about writing it because, that's what you're supposed to do. If you're writing, you're supposed to feel good about your work. I don't know. I did, at least. So, boom, I'm done with the paper. It's like 2 pages long, typed, double spaced. Nothing much, nothing too serious. Just, the regular run of the mill, analysis that you would do in a basic course, right? Right? So I give it to my instructor on before due date. Actually, I turned it in 3 days before the due date, so I'm feeling real good. I'm like, all right, yeah, bring on the next assignment, right? Straight out of high school, been getting B's without even trying to in high school. Just been getting B's and A's in high school, right? So the following day, I get my paper back, and it's to my surprise, I get an F plus, bruh. And I was so in shock. I was so shocked, or so shocked, just period. I took it home to my wife, who was my current girlfriend at the time. I took it home. I took it to the apartment, and I told my wife, I said, "Hey, look at this paper." And I said, she gave me an F plus. My wife didn't believe me. She was baffled. She was like, no way. I handed her the paper, and it said F plus. We both laughed. We laughed it off because it was funny at the time. I don't know how else to say this, but I ended up putting that paper on my refrigerator, and I put a magnet and I slapped it on the refrigerator. Boom. Like, you know what? That's motivation. You heard like instructors, or you're a student, right? If you're a student and you know that there are some instructors out there who genuinely don't really care as far as your education goes. Like, you can take their class even in college, but they genuinely, some of these instructors who don't really care about people or students just genuinely don't care to even offer you any advice. However, I went up to this instructor the following day, and I asked her. I was like, "Hey, what's up with this paper, right?" Because I thought it was unfair. I was like, okay, she clearly biased against my paper, and maybe she didn't like the way I wrote it. I wanted to get some understanding about what warranted this F plus, not a D minus, a F plus. Like I had failed with a plus for effort. So yeah. So the following day, I went into her office. She didn't have a class at the time, and I go, "Hey, Mrs. So and So, can you talk to me a little bit more about this paper? I'm just having a hard time to understand. This is a summer course, and this paper is a major grade, and it's worth 40% of the grade for the summer. So technically, I cannot pass this class without at least having a C on this paper. So I need to know, is there anything I could do? Maybe it was a misunderstanding for the assignment." And she looks at me. She goes, "I honestly think you should take this course in the fall. I think that it's a little too fast for you in the summer, and it's a lot slower in the fall." And to my response, I go, "Well, what would be the difference if I wrote this paper now or later? I need some clarification of what actually went wrong with this paper because the assignment was completed." So, because I'm really cocky, right? I'm like, I know I'm a good writer. High school showed me, or get past me. I got a high school diploma. I can write, right? She gave me the paper back, and she was like, "Okay, here's what went wrong." And as we started reading the paper, she was putting commas, periods, just doing all types of things, And I'm looking at the paper like she's like, "I didn't fully grade this paper, but I can show you, why I think that why I showed you I graded this paper like that." So she just starts marking it up with a red pen, and I'm like, okay. So long story short, I say this: that catapulted me to wanting to become the best I could at writing. For some reason, something clicked in me that day. When I went home and I saw the F plus, I always thought about some of those people who say, people that you're going to go to college and you will fail out of college if you're not prepared. You will literally fail out of college. There is nobody. Well, especially when I was going, there was nobody to tell you to go home and study and do your homework. Freshman year, there's nobody telling you to do that. I actually found out the hard way. However, through sheer determination of becoming the best writer I could be, I went on and actually switched my degree from over. I was in STEM. I was in engineering, which I was totally hitting the road bump. I could not pass the math. So the math in college at the junior college was at a totally different level than the math in high school. And I had no idea where to go because I thought I wanted to be an engineer, but I was not ready for the math. So I actually went to Stephen F. Austin State University, where I switched my degree over to psychology after some trial and errors with kinesiology. I switched it over to psychology, and I found my thing. I was able to research more, learn to become a better writer, learn to articulate what I'm saying, why I'm saying it, and learn to show and quantify what the research studies have already proven. And throughout that time, I fell in love with psychology. I fell in love with I fell in love with the human mind, the way we can tend to simplify things that's so complex in nature. Like behavior problems. You can simplify and say, "Oh, this person is angry because he drinks alcohol often." Then you find out that person has been going through some emotional trauma in their life, which caused them to drink, which ended up them displaying or exhibiting these violent behaviors while they're drunk. So it's the simple ideas that bring so much complexity inside these situations that we need to be aware of. But I'm saying this to say this. That catapulted me into wanting to become an author, a best-selling author at that. And I'm going to speak this into fruition, because if you don't, who will? If you don't speak this into nature, who will? At the end of the day, there's only you. You have to be that person who's going to drive yourself to where you want to go. You're in that front seat. You're behind the steering wheel. Your foot is on the gas. So you can either brake or you can punch it to the floor. The choice is yours.